Our next speaker this morning is Emily Gullo, who entered the Oakridge School as a first grader.
Hi, I'm Emily Gullo, and today I'm going to share with you 5 things I've learned from being the oldest sibling in my family. Many researchers have concluded that birth order can greatly affect the personality of siblings. They say it can affect behavior, learning, and ultimately the child's earning power. The oldest sibling is usually a natural leader, a perfectionist, and a people pleaser, while the middle child is more easygoing and the youngest is more creative. My family is no exception to these stereotypes, but here's my take on the traits I've developed from being the oldest sibling in my family. The first trait that I feel I've developed from being the oldest is patience. And a prime example of this actually happened last summer when my dad took my brother and I backpacking in Colorado. And we had never been backpacking before, so the whole ride there my brother was taunting me and telling me I would never make it because he had been training. But 4 hours into our first hike, that's my brother, sprawled out on a rock complaining, and we practically had to carry him up the mountain. So I somehow managed to make it through that week-long trip without my sanity being completely destroyed. So 1,000 proof of patience, I don't know what is. The next thing that I feel I've developed from being the oldest is how to share, which may seem a little childish, but from the time when we were little kids to now when all of my siblings and I have to share one bathroom, which trust me is not easy, I've learned how to cooperate with people in any situation. I've also learned to value what I have. And I'm glad I've learned this skill because it will help me in any collaborative situation in the future. The next trait that I feel I've developed from being the oldest is diligence. From schoolwork to extracurricular activities, I'm always aware that my siblings are watching what I do. And because of this, I've learned that I'm kind of a role model for them, which has driven me to work hard in all aspects of my life. I'm glad that I realized this early on because I want to keep it in mind as I go to college next year and my siblings aren't around all the time. The next trait, and probably the most obvious that I feel I've learned, is responsibility. I'm definitely not always happy about having to chauffeur my siblings around all the time, but I'm glad I've had to take these kinds of responsibilities because it's taught me how to prioritize. I'm not only responsible for my schedule, but also the schedule of my family. And because of this, I've learned valuable skills about time management. I've also learned what it truly means to be trustworthy. These will both be necessary for my future career. The last trait that I feel I've developed from being the oldest is leadership. And one of the stereotypical characteristics of the firstborn child is that they're a natural leader. But I'm definitely not that way. I'm very quiet and reserved naturally. But within my family, because of the realization that I'm a role model and the responsibilities I've had to take, I've begun to better understand the true meaning of leadership. Sometimes being a leader isn't about being the loudest person in a room. Sometimes it's just being an unheard voice or simply doing the right thing when no one else is. I often try and stick up for my siblings, and I always try to make good decisions because once again, I am a role model. So I'm glad that I've learned these skills about leadership because I naturally don't have them. So why am I telling you this? Well, as I get closer and closer to going to college, I've started to reflect on all the lessons that my family has taught me. I'm not always grateful to have siblings because it can be a real pain sometimes, but I am thankful that I've gotten to the opportunity to learn about these traits because I will need them for college and my future career. Patience and sharing have prepared me for any collaborative setting that I will find myself in. And let's face it, I feel very prepared to live in a tiny college dorm next year with 3 other girls after living with my siblings for so long. Diligence, responsibility, and leadership are things that I will need in all aspects of my life for the rest of my life. So I encourage you to reflect on all of the lessons that your family has taught you and how they have positively impacted your life. Lastly, I'd just like to say how thankful I am to have siblings because I know not everyone is fortunate enough to have them. I feel like I have built-in best friends for the rest of my life, which is really cool. So to end, I'd like to share with you my favorite quote about siblings. To the outside world, we all grow old, but not to brothers and sisters. We know each other as we always were. We know each other's hearts. We share private family jokes. We remember family feuds and secrets, family griefs and joys. We live outside the touch of time.